Hey guys, Katie here. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my 2023 recap video. I've been doing a end of the year recap video, like compilation on my channel since I think 2014, so I have to do one this year. It's coming up on almost 10 years of these recaps, and mainly I do them for me. It's like a digital diary, so if you're here and you're watching, thank you. But I'm going to go over what happened each month this past year in 2023, as well as what I learned and then what my goals are for next year. So I'm going to get into it because these are usually really long and I don't want to babble on like I always do, because I know I'm already going to babble a lot throughout the video when it comes to touching on what happened in each month of my life this year. So it's been a really good year, honestly. Overall, I have nothing bad to say about it. There's been highs and lows, obviously, but it's been a good year and I'm really thankful for it. It went by really quickly, but yeah, somehow we're here doing the recap video already, and let's get into it. Starting off with January of 2023, I really didn't do a whole lot, but the highlight of that month was definitely going to visit my brother Jacob in Orlando, Florida. My sister and I went down there for a few days and we got to go to Gatorland and we got to go to Clearwater Beach. Really just fun way to start off the new year, especially because I did do a bit of traveling this year. That was for sure a fun trip and I can't wait to go back and visit him, hopefully one more time before he moves home soon. He's gonna move back to the Midwest soon and then somewhere else next year. February is a pretty big month because quite a lot of my really close friends, including my sister, have birthdays during that month. So the beginning of February, I went to Kansas City and celebrated my friend Gabby's birthday along with Carlin's birthdays, and then Christy's birthday, all the birthdays in February. It's a really fun month for that reason. So while February was filled with awesome birthdays, there were some lows. There was a point in the month, I think Super Bowl Sunday specifically, I was at a friend's party and I was on Snapchat and I saw something I did not want to see. That's all I'm gonna say. This is in regards to obviously my breakup, which I'm still healing from a whole year and a half later, but like things are better. And so in February, yeah, that happened. I had a really rough night. I actually took work off the next day and just had like a mental health day to just cope with what had happened. And yeah, and then like literally the next day was Valentine's Day, and so to kind of like, I guess, reward myself or treat myself, I decided to go to a Noah Kahan concert by myself. And this is the first time I've ever gone to a concert by myself, but I thought it would be so like special and like a beautiful metaphor of self-love to go take myself to a concert on my very first Valentine's Day single in over 10 years, because I think I had been in a relationship for every Valentine's Day since I was around 18 years old. It was time to treat myself to a fun event, and Noah Kahan was the perfect concert to go to alone. I felt so safe. It was amazing. And I also got to go to my very first Mardi Gras in February. I had never been to a St. Louis Mardi Gras event before. It was really fun. Basically just a day of day drinking. So yeah, that's February. Now on to March. So after my whole breakdown in February, I think March was a turning point for me, and I was like, I think it's maybe a good time for me to go on the dating apps. Probably wasn't, by the way. It was probably too soon. But, you know, you live and you learn, and I got back on the apps. I met one guy and we hit it off. We talked, but we didn't go on our first date until April. So we talked from like February, March, and then April we went on our first date. Really nice guy, and that was, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but April would have been my first date that I would have had with a guy in a long time. So my first date happened in April, but in March I met the guy and got back on the apps, like I said. So I was starting to kind of just like put myself back out there again. And also, I got to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with my friend group. March, I actually went to Kansas City again to visit my friend Carlin and also my friend Amanda. If you've been watching me for a long time, I don't know if anyone will remember this, but Carlin and Amanda were my college roommates in my dorm at UCM my first semester there. And then Carlin, I kept living with her after that, and I'm about to live with her again, but I'll talk about that in a second. Also in March, real quickly, I did get to go to my very first WWE event. That was really fun. Logan Paul was there. It was a riot. Very interesting, entertaining event. Thank you. Shout out to my friend Stephanie's husband Dave for getting us those tickets. And then I ended March by going to a Killers concert with my friends, Katie, Michael, and Jamie, and we had a great time. I've always wanted to see the Killers live, and we did. and I loved it. Now on to my birthday month, April 2023. I turned 28 this year, and I really wanted to make my birthday fun and special because I think that it landed on like a Saturday or Friday this year, so I knew I needed to do something for it. And but yeah, I got my hair done in April. I had Easter Sunday. This has nothing to do with any special events, but I did write that my skin was clear in April and I felt really beautiful, which is cool, I guess. That's awesome because the next month after that in May is when my hormonal acne decided to take a turn for the worse, but I won't talk too much about that. And yeah, my birthday weekend was awesome. I went to, my best friend Katie took me to a Cardinals game and made it a really special day for me. And then that night we all went to a bar called Westport Social, and I had a lot of my friends from out of town come in, and I just feel so thankful that I was able to have everyone with me and just have a really fun birthday night. Also in April, I already kind of mentioned this, but I did go on a first date. The only reason I'm talking about it is because it was like a pretty pivotal point for me in this whole breakup journey. Since I had basically spent all the rest of 2022 not dating anyone, this was a good chance for me to put myself out there, and it was a lovely date, and I'm thankful that I went on it. And so yeah, that was April like 19th, I think, and then on April 20th, I reached 100 Pure Barre classes. This is a special thing for me, a special milestone, because in 2022, I started going to Pure Barre, which is a workout class place. It's like a mix between Pilates, yoga, and ballet, and I fell in love with it. It helped me heal so much of my anxiety, and it's helped me a lot over the last year that I've been going to it. And then yeah, in April I hit 100 classes, which it was just like so fun. There was a rainbow outside that day. I got to I got a pair of socks. I don't know, it's a whole thing, but I'm hoping that in 2024 I'll still be able to go to Pure Barre because it is like a really big part of my like self-care routine. It's just really expensive, so we'll see if I'm able to keep going or not. I don't know. I'm really proud of myself though for sticking to Pure Barre and just a workout routine in general. It's completely changed the way that I feel about my body and also my mental health. In early May, actually on the 1-year anniversary of my breakup, I was in Cancun, Mexico. So my friends, my girlfriends, all of us decided to do an all-inclusive trip to Cancun, and it was at the Now Emerald Suites, I think it's called. Never done an all-inclusive trip before, so I was really excited, and it was just the perfect week. So much happened. It was one with lots of fun memories made, and overall I just love traveling, so it was fun to leave the country for the first time since like 2015. Got to use my passport, and I definitely would go back. I would definitely do it again. Maybe not to that resort, but overall like the all-inclusive resort experience was super fun. When I got back from Cancun, I feel like the rest of the month was a blur, but there are a few things I could touch on. My YouTube channel reached over 100,000 subscribers again this year, and I think that happened for me in May. However, at the same time, my YouTube partnership did unfortunately get taken away in May. That was the first time it got taken away, and I won't even go into that. It's like a whole stupid thing, but yeah, that was kind of a sad thing that happened this year, and it did happen in May. So while I'm past 100,000 subscribers again, my channel is no longer able to be monetized as of right now. I ended the month of May for Memorial Day weekend at my grandpa's lake house like we do every year, and that is always such a fun time with my cousins, my sister, my immediate family. It is just the best. I think I vlogged it, but that vlog didn't go up until like way later in the summer, so I've sucked at like making YouTube videos this year, to be honest. June, I went to a concert with my parents. I started the month doing that, and then I also got to go to Destin, Florida again with my really good friend Michael and his family. I went last year as well, and then I went in 2019, so this is my third time going to Destin with Michael's family and our friend group. It was just such a fun trip. I am so looking forward to going again next year, hopefully. I think we're gonna go in July, but yeah, Destin is just the best, and it's one of the most beautiful beaches, and I'm so thankful to Michael's family for like including me on those trips, because it's truly like one of the highlights of my summer, and it definitely was one of the highlights of this past year for sure. So yeah, I went to Destin, but also in June, things started to kind of pick up for me in the dating world. I had only gone on that first date in April of this year, and then I kind of took a break for a little bit, and then lo and behold, sometime in June, I got back on the dating apps, and I ended up going on 2 first dates during the month of June. One was with a guy not on the dating apps, one was with a guy from Hinge, and I won't talk too much about like that situation or those situations, but overall that's more first dates. The more first dates I go on, I feel like the better idea I'll have of the kind of person I want to be with. So yeah, but anyways, I went on those first dates, and one of those guys I ended up continuing to see for almost 4 months. Aside from those first dates and Destin, I would say June was overall a really lovely month. I spent a lot of time this past year again at my grandpa's pool, just like last summer, and I'm hoping I'll get to do that next year too. And I went to Cardinals games, I went to Six Flags I think at least once. I got to go, I think, another concert in June, I don't know which one, but I'm sure I did, because I truly, ever since like summer of 2022, have kept so busy on the weekends, primarily so that I can consistently, and did consistently, upload a weekend recap reel and TikTok every single weekend. So I've been doing that since July of 2022, and I did it again this year, one whole year, 52 videos of my weekend memories essentially documented. So I tried to do my best to fill my weekends with plans that were content worthy, but even on the weekends that I didn't do anything, I still filmed. Now on to July, which has to be my #1 favorite month of this past year, primarily because I got to go see Taylor Swift Eras Tour on July 8th, which was just probably one of the best days of my life, honestly, and I'm not even being dramatic, like it was. I just love Taylor Swift so much. This was the year of girlhood, in my opinion. That's like the overarching theme of this year, for me at least. The Barbie movie, Taylor Swift, just so much of that was just such a huge theme for this past summer, and I felt that in my soul in July when I got to go see Taylor play live for 3 hours on July 8th. I got to go to the concert where Taylor Lautner came out and did a flip, and she premiered Speak Now, Taylor's version, and just was such a perfect day, and I will remember it for the rest of my life. But yeah, like I said, the Barbie movie came out that month, so I saw that movie like twice, and then my friends had a Barbie themed like birthday party because a bunch of them are born in July, so it was like a conjoined party. That was like definitely one of the best days this summer too, was going to that Barbie themed party. We've touched on Barbie, we've talked about Taylor Swift, we've talked about 4th of July. July was great, but I haven't talked about the fact that July was really a turning point for me when it came to this 3 to 4 months of dating a certain person, or kind of dating a certain person. I think that I experienced my first situationship this year, so that's fun. That started in July. I started going on more dates with him, and I was having a really lovely time, to be honest. So I have absolutely no regrets about this, and I have no ill will towards him at all. It was a lesson. Like, I truly think it needed to happen to me, and I kind of had like a little bit of a summer like love, like summer romance. It wasn't love, but like just a fun little summer fling. Although I think internally I was like, oh, this is gonna be my next boyfriend. Yeah, no, I've got a lot more healing to do because clearly I have attachment issues. Anyways, July was great. Towards the end of it, I got to go to my grandpa's lake house and see my cousin Austin and his son Scotty. August and September were probably the roughest months of this past year, maybe October too, but mainly August and September because I ended up getting sick, okay? I got pretty sick with mono. But let's start at the beginning here. In early August, I went to my family's lake house again and got to go to the carnival we go to there every year, and it was so amazing. I had a great time. I was starting to feel kind of sick, but wasn't really paying attention to it. I get back from the carnival, I go to the horse races, and then 2 days later, my friend group that I went to the horse races with, we all test positive for, you know, the virus that has been going around since, wow, 4 years ago, I guess. And I had never actually had the virus before. I had never had it. It was my first time testing positive, and I don't know, I felt relatively okay. I really didn't feel that sick, but everything started to fall apart about a week later with my health, because after I got done having it, I continued to feel sick, essentially. Like, things got worse, if that makes sense. And I went to my friend Jamie's 30th birthday party, still not feeling 100%, but thought maybe, again, I was recovering, and I knew I wasn't contagious anymore because I was testing negative. So, yeah, went to her party and then came home that Sunday and had a high fever. So that was definitely a wake-up call. I was like, okay, something isn't right here. Something is amiss. I went to the urgent care the next day, got a strep test again, and then I got a mono test because by this point I was thinking maybe something maybe I have something like mono, okay? Got a finger prick, and that was negative, and so was the strep test. So then I'm back to square one of like, okay, what's wrong with me? September was the month of answers for me. After a month and a half of feeling super sick, I finally went to my primary care doctor and got a mono blood test done. I faced my fear of needles. I was so desperate for answers, and on September 11th, I tested positive for mono. That was just like the craziest part of this year, honestly, was getting sick, because I felt like I was going insane. I was on Reddit every day trying to figure out what my symptoms were and what they could be affiliated with, and I ended up realizing like pretty quickly that it was probably mononucleosis or Epstein-Barr virus. I did have to reschedule some trips since I was sick, and one of them was a trip to Orlando to visit my brother and go to Disney World with him, and I ended up rescheduling that for the end of September. So once I was feeling okay again, I did go on that trip, and it was amazing. I got to go to Disney World for the first time since 2010, and it was so much fun. October rolls around and I'm feeling almost 100% back to normal, which was great. I ended up breaking things off with my situationship Hinge man in October. I mean, it was like a mutual thing, but that was a turning point for me for sure. I had a little bit of a breakdown. I was a little upset for like a few days, and then I was like over it, and that was a good feeling to have a version of myself exist that was able to heal and bounce back so quickly from something like that. I feel like old Katie like wouldn't have been able to cope too well with that situation. Went to the Renaissance Fair with Carlin. That was an amazing time. I got to go to my one of my family members' weddings in Illinois. This past Halloween was really fun. I dressed up as Princess Mia from Princess Diaries one night, and then the next party I was a fallen angel. I really love Halloween, and I always will. So it was probably one of my favorite Halloweens I've ever had this past year. So on November 7th, it marked 1.5 years of being single for me, which I didn't even realize in the moment, but I think I like realized it halfway through the month, and I was like, oh, cool, I made it. A year and a half. I'm really big on like dates and nostalgia and keeping track of like anniversaries of things. I mean, I'm not very good about people's birthdays, but I can remember like what I was doing 5 years ago today. Like, not remember it, but like I like to look and see what I was doing. Snapchat memories probably plays a huge role in that as well. Another health update in November, I did finally face my fear of getting a CT scan done. I had actually gone to a doctor earlier in the year, and I have this like hard lump on my rib cage, and it's been there since 2020, and I've gotten x-rays on it, but it started to hurt this year, and I think it was primarily because I do work out my chest at Pure Barre, and so I got a CT scan in November, and it came back with answers that allowed me to just feel so relieved. All it is apparently is arthritis, and now what's really funny is ever since I found out that I'm not dying of whatever I thought I had, health anxiety is real, guys. I literally have had no pain, and I don't even pay attention to this part of my body anymore. Like, every once in a while I'll feel some pain there and soreness, but not anywhere close to what I was feeling earlier in the year when I was so paranoid about what it was. I got to spend Thanksgiving this year again with my family at our lake house in Illinois, and my grandpa got to go, and it was overall just a really good month. November went by very quickly though, that's one thing I will say. In early December, I got to go to 2 Friendsgivings with 2 different friend groups, which was awesome. One was in Kansas City, one was back here at home. I also got to go visit my best friend Casey in Chicago for what will probably be the last time, because I think she's moving back home to St. Louis again soon, which I'm excited about, but it's kind of bittersweet because I do love Chicago, and I only visited her twice while she was there. I visited last December and this December. I forgot to mention in October I did go to a 1975 concert with Carlin. That was like the same weekend that her and I went to the Renaissance Fair. It was a really fun week. And also I did go to a Paramore concert with her in July. But yeah, back to December. This past month has again gone by so quickly, but I'm really thankful because for Thanksgiving break I had a whole week off, and then also I've had this whole past week off work too, so I've got 2 back-to-back months of having 1 full week off of work, and being able to recuperate and rest has been really nice. But yeah, visited Casey in Chicago in December. Let's see. Oh, I went to my 10-year high school reunion. That is like the main thing that I could talk about. So I did go to that a week ago today, or a week ago yesterday, on the 23rd of December. I went to my 10-year high school reunion, which was honestly really fun. Casey and I went. We went with a few other friends. We got to see some people, catch up a little bit. Not a lot of people showed up, but overall it was just fun to go out to a place in St. Louis and see some familiar faces, And then also to register that it's been 10 years since we've graduated high school was just very jarring. The most recent update, as my winter break comes to an end, and today is actually December 31st, it is the last day of the year, I applied to an apartment last night with my best friend Carlin, and I lived with her throughout college, and then she moved away to Kansas City, and she's actually moving back to St. Louis in a month. And so we looked at 6 different apartments last week, toured 6 different ones, and we settled on one that is really kind of close by here, and if we get it, I'll be super thankful, and we'll move into that apartment in February together. It's gonna be a really big change for me and Carlin as well. We're both really excited though. So look out for vlogs in the new year. We're gonna have some fun on my channel and also probably TikTok as well. What this year has taught me, I'm worthy of good treatment. I discovered that there are men out there, while maybe I'm not compatible with all of them, I learned through dating certain people that there are guys that will treat me with respect and set the bar higher in a certain way, and I just learned in general that my bar for men is extremely low, and so I need to raise it and set my standards a little higher. I learned that loneliness is oftentimes more peaceful than any relationship could ever be, meaning like a romantic relationship, especially with a straight man. No offense to straight men, but nowadays I do find that like I think I provide myself with so much happiness, and I'm trying to kind of set that standard for myself so that if someone comes along, they have to make me even more happy than I can make myself for me to be able to settle for them or to be with them. I mentioned this earlier, but I've learned that I am someone who puts all of my eggs in one basket when it comes to dating, or at least that was a trend for me this year, because I'm someone who's quite forgiving of a person's negative qualities, or in general I feel like I'm a people pleaser, which I'm working on for sure, and I can oftentimes lack my own like self-respect and give too much of myself to someone and compromise too much just for the sake of like maybe having a relationship. You know, that's something that I think a lot of people do, and I'm learning that's not the way to do it. You should never give up parts of yourself just to be with someone, just to say you're dating someone. Another lesson is that it's okay to not always have plans on the weekends. Those weekend recap videos I take those very seriously, and sometimes I put a lot of pressure on myself to go and do fun things on the weekends, but then if plans fall through, I've learned that it's okay and that I could still romanticize like a lazy weekend and have fun. Another thing I learned, and this was a lesson from last year as well, is that my friendships and my time with my family bring me so much happiness, and I am just so utterly thankful for every memory I've made, because in my era of being single, that's something that I've really soaked up and realized and tried to stay present with, is that there are so many good things about just surrounding yourself with your friends and your family and making memories with those people, and not putting all your focus on just the person that you're in a relationship with. The last thing that I learned this year is that there's no harm in trying, or just in general that like you can't really see results unless you try. That's a pretty like cliche one. All right, goals for 2024. This is a new one. I just came up with this one like yesterday. I'm gonna keep do not disturb mode on my phone way more often, even if it's just like during the workday. It has helped my mental health just so much in the last day or so, not getting those notifications immediately and just not worrying about who's texting me. It's been very healthy for me. So yeah, less obsessive about checking who views my stories, and less obsessive about checking who's texted me and reached out to me and everything like that. Those are dopamine hits that I get off of checking those things, and do not disturb mode definitely helps with that. One of my goals last year, I think, was to drink less alcohol, and that's another goal of mine for 2024. Another one is I'm going to keep going to Pure Barre for as long as I can afford it. I'm hoping that I'll get to continue going. I'll still live really close to the studio, but if I don't, then I will definitely be signing up for a different gym membership, and just going to continue to focus on my physical health this year. Or next year in 2024. Another goal of mine is to journal at least once a week, and along with that I want to start writing letters to my friends and family more, and sending letters, like handwritten ones, to people. I think that's just such a special thing to do, and no one really does it anymore. Another goal of mine is to continue to post those weekend recap videos that I've been doing for over a year and a half now, and those are available to view on my TikTok and my Reels. I post one every Monday or Sunday, and it's essentially just called a weekend in my whatever month it is. Another goal is to travel to another state more than once next year, or just to travel again in general. I'll get to go to Florida, I'm sure, maybe. But if I have a few other trips planned out, that would be really cool as well. Another goal is just to post on TikTok more often and to really utilize that platform. And the last goal is to read at least 3 books. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but for me that's a lot because I'm not a reader. That is the final goal for 2024. This past year was truly a beautiful year for me. I grew a lot and experienced things that I had wanted to experience for a long time, and I did, and I put myself out of my comfort zone in order to experience those things, and I have no regrets. It was just such a awesome year. Thank you all so much for watching and all of your support throughout the last 10+ years I've been on YouTube. Here's to another wonderful year. Bye everyone.